first film review. Let's hope this turns out okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I am going to be doing a film review. This will be my first film review on my channel, which I am really excited about, and I will be reviewing Encanto. First of all, I absolutely loved the film. I watched it twice, and each time it made me cry in all the same parts, and like even in some different parts that I didn't originally cry as well too. So first and foremost, like I said in the beginning, I absolutely love the film Encanto. The music, all the colors, everybody's magical abilities is just, it was very well written and had me wanting to go back for more. The first time I watched it was New Year's Eve / New Year's Day. I was watching it with my boyfriend on New Year's Eve, and obviously clock stroke midnight, and then into New Year's Day. So I was watching it with my boyfriend, and the first time around I was sobbing so much. And because my boyfriend had to go do something, we had to rewind, and I started crying all over again. The first go, I absolutely loved it. The second go, loved it the same time around. I wasn't sobbing this time around, but I did get teary-eyed. Like, I did cry. I wasn't like ugly crying. But it did make me cry the second time I watched it. But the second time that I watched it, it was equally as good as the first time around. A few things that I want to touch on that I noticed while watching the film. The first thing that I want to touch on is the differences when Abuela's backstory is told. So the first time when you see it, it's, you know, short, quick, to the point. You don't see Abuela's heartache. You don't see her crying. It's just, you see her just watching Pedro, watching her husband go sacrifice himself to protect his wife, his kids, and the village. And then she gets the miracle. The second time we hear Abuela's backstory, it's more, there's more emotion, it's more tragic. Like, when you see Abuela's face that second time around, when she sees her husband going to sacrifice himself, it is so heartbreaking. That part made me cry so much, just because of how emotional, and like, you see the emotion on her face. Like, I have never seen a Disney movie put in so much effort into somebody's emotion, like their facial expression. Like, yeah, Disney has done it like so many times in other films, but in this one in particular, I've never seen it being executed so well. Not to mention, it's like, you see Abuela's heartbreak in her face. It's just, oh man, that moment, I was devastated. I was crying myself. I was crying for Abuela. And I know Abuela throughout the film was very problematic, like pushing everybody to be, like, everybody who got a miracle to be, you know, perfect, to use their powers, and she basically pushed Mirabel to the side because she didn't get a gift, and whatnot. Like, I had my moments where I wanted to punch her in the face. I wanted to punch Abuela in the face. In the moment when we see her backstory again, and just seeing how devastated she was, it humanized her a lot more. Although I will say, I feel like she could have done a better job of apologizing. But the fact that she did even apologize is a step up. The second thing I want to touch upon is the generational trauma, because that is a huge thing. Going back to what I was saying with Abuela, and then her and her husband having to leave their country to start anew and to be able to, you know, raise up the triplets in a safe environment, is a scary thing that many immigrants have had to face in the past. You know, I think of how lucky I am to be born here in the States and have so many opportunities that, you know, my parents could not have had in the past. Coming to a different country is a very scary process for a lot of people. You know, leaving everything that they've ever known behind is something that many people from different Latin countries have had to deal with. And raising up their kids so that way they can have the opportunities that they didn't have is something that a lot of immigrant families tend to do with their children, especially those who were born here in the States. And like even those kids who were born in a different country and came with their parents, that's also a huge thing that I've seen too. Parents who immigrated to a different country because of war or just wanting a better life tend to push these beliefs onto, you know, onto their kids, to want them to succeed in life and have a better life for them. I can only speak from my experience, but growing up here in the US, my parents have always taught me to work hard for what I want in life because nothing gets handed to me on a silver platter. They've taught me not only to work hard, but the importance of education. You know, go to school. When you go to school and graduate with a degree, you'll get a good job. I just graduated from college. Now I am working part-time at my current job still, but in April, something huge is coming up for me that I'm not gonna mention just yet. I'm just hinting at it right now. But at the same time, I had to deal with pressure on my shoulders, wanting to make my parents proud and make my family proud. Just like in Luisa's song, I don't know all the words, but there's this one line that really stuck to me. I'll probably put it somewhere over here if I can find it. But there's this one line that really stuck to me, and I'm like, ouch. Like, I was able to relate to Luisa, and Luisa's the middle child. I'm the oldest child, and like her song really hit home because of the pressure of being the oldest that I had to deal with. Setting the example, helping out my younger sibling. It's just me and my brother. So helping him out in a way, kind of like paving the way for not just my younger sibling, but for those coming behind me. I have a lot of younger cousins who are in high school, middle school, and elementary school who probably look up to me. I don't know if they do, but they probably look up to me. And just like the pressure of also helping out around the house, helping out with the family, being there for the family, being there with the family, and just so much pressure. I was able to relate to Luisa on so many aspects, even though she is the middle child, but I was also able to relate to Isabella. Isabella is labeled as the golden child of the family. She can do no wrong. She is perfect in every way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't say I'm the golden child of my family, but I did strive for perfection at some points in time while I was in college, whether that was at my community college and at the 2 4-year schools that I was at. I was so focused on, you know, on school, on getting my education, graduating on time, getting everything done, that I did have my moments where things didn't feel like they were perfect. I was striving for perfection, that I would get frustrated whenever I would get like one bad grade or just like one grade lower than the grade that I was expecting to get. I was shooting for those straight A's when I should have been, you know, shooting, I don't want to say good enough, but I should have been shooting more for, not perfection, but I should have been shooting for something less than perfect, because I am not a perfect human. Nobody is perfect. And that's, I was able to relate to Isabella, because of the fact that Abuela was pushing her to be this perfect person, this golden child. Now, going back to the movie, with the generational trauma and whatnot, there are like many instances where you can see Abuela trying to push her own narrative onto her family. You know, just a few examples that I can name at the top of my head. Pepa, where she can control the weather with her emotions. Abuela, in different instances, you can see her trying to tell Pepa to, you know, like suppress it, you know, to like control her emotions. Again, we're human. We can't really control our emotions. Well, I mean, we can, but it's bad to suppress them because then it can ultimately lead to a lot of mental health issues. And another example that I can think of at the top of my head is with Bruno. He can see things, he can see the future, and just the fact that a lot of people see Bruno as somebody who makes bad things happen is something else that is just something that I noticed in general, especially in his song We Don't Talk About Bruno. It's all in like everybody's point of view, and everybody's deeming him to be like this bad guy because he makes bad things happen. But that's not how his power works. He just sees what is going to happen, and he tells people the truth. He's this person that, you know, tells people the truth and they don't want to hear it, so they send him away. Oh my god. That is definitely how a lot of people can be in today's world. You know, nobody's ready to hear the truth is what I'm labeling Bruno as. You know, he's this person that tells people the truth, but yet nobody wants to hear it. People will ask him, you know, like questions, he'll give them the answer and they don't want to hear it. Our poor Bruno. Another thing that I want to touch upon is the music and just how catchy every single song is. When the film starts, the family is introduced by Mirabel through this song, just like introducing everybody in the family and introducing their powers as well, introducing their gifts and what they can do. Each character is unique, same thing with their gifts, and their gifts are also meant to help out the town that they live in. And I love how they were introduced with a song, and it was just such a great way to like grab your attention and bring you into the film. Like it has you kind of like little kids questioning, especially Mirabel, when the kids are asking, you know, like what's Mirabel's power, what gifts does she have, and she just kind of swerves the question left and right until Dolores says that she didn't get a power. Like, really? Each song within itself is just catchy. Luisa's song, I talked about it a little bit, but I was able to relate to Luisa's song, but at the same time, it's also catchy, and I have a headcanon. I have a feeling that Luisa would definitely be the one to follow every single boy band out there, have all their CDs, have either pictures or posters of them up on her wall, and she would make TikTok dances to the songs. That is my headcanon. Like, you guys saw the way she danced. There's no way that she wouldn't have a TikTok account just dedicated to her dancing. She's got moves. She can move. She can dance. And I was just so impressed by the way that she could dance. But besides the point, her song was so catchy and so relatable. I found myself just like tearing up because of how I was able to relate to her song. Another song that's been stuck in my head, and I blame TikTok for this one. TikTok, I blame you, is We Don't Talk About Bruno. That song is so catchy, and I've had it stuck in my head for probably the past 2 weeks since I saw it. And then now, because of TikTok and everybody's like using it and talking about it, that song is just stuck in my head. It's a good song, it's a catchy song, and it is stuck in my head until who knows what other song comes up. Oh man, that song is just such a catchy song, and I can't get it out of my head. And then obviously there are so many other songs that are just so beautiful and well written. The other song that I really liked, especially because it was in a very emotional part, was the last song. Again, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it over here somewhere. But that last song was just so beautiful. It encapsulated the emotion of Abuela retelling her backstory to not only Mirabel but to also the audience. It was just so emotional and just, I feel like, captivated that part of the film so well. And just overall, the film has an amazing soundtrack that I love so much. But yeah, the soundtrack was just so beautiful and well done. And then just a few little things that I wanted to put in myself. I wish I had written down my points, but this is just stuff that I remember at the top of my head. I like the fact that, kind of going back to Bruno's song, I love how people paint him as this bad guy, and we expect him to be, you know, like this bad guy who can tell the future. But when we meet him, he's just this guy who was pushed aside from his family, like Mirabel, and he loves his family. He's been living in the walls of his family's house for, I think he said like 10 years, or like it's been 10 years. No, yeah, it has been 10 years. And so when we meet Bruno, he's just this kind of awkward guy who doesn't really know how to interact with people because he hasn't interacted with people in a long time. And he cares about his family. You know, he says so himself, is that he left to protect Mirabel. He left because of Mirabel. He left because he cared about her, and he cares about his family. He loves his family. And like, just all the different scenes that we have of Bruno, the one that stuck with me the most is when he's talking to Mirabel, and you know, we see he has like a table. I'll put a picture. He has a table, and then he kind of has like a drawn plate to make it seem like he's eating with his family. He loves his family so much that he left because he loved them so much. And I think that really paints a really beautiful picture of Bruno in comparison to how other people see him as, like, you know, this really bad guy who makes bad things happen. Bruno is such a really good character. And still speaking about the men in the family, the two dads, Felix and Mirabel's dad. Oh my god, I forgot his name. But the two dads, Disney finally wrote two amazing fathers for a Disney movie. First of all, Felix, we see him in how supportive he is of not only his wife, but like his children. And when it comes to Camilo and Antonio, the way they treat the women of the family, you can see that Felix has showed them right from wrong, how to treat women, and just how he sets the example for his kids. You know, the way he treats Peppa, you know, giving her a glass of I think it was juice in that one scene, and you know, kind of telling her, you know, like, it's okay, you know, in a way, kind of like telling her to like calm down. He's just such a good dad and a good husband, and we love that. We love that so much. And now talking about Mirabel, Luisa, and Isabella's dad, he's also a really good father. Here's another headcanon for you that I've seen all over the internet as well that I absolutely love. But I love the fact that he's probably injury prone, but because of that, he probably injured himself on purpose to see Julieta and to have her give him an arepa so that way he can feel better. Like, he purposely got hurt to see her and then formed this beautiful relationship. But I just love the fact that he defended Mirabel numerous times. When he found out, when he walked in on Mirabel completing the prophecy, and then he sees it, and then he just like grabs everything and he's like, we don't tell anybody. I love that. And then, you know, we have Dolores, who can hear everything, and then we know she's gonna tell everybody. In the one scene when when Casita is falling apart and Abuela is basically just like yelling at Julieta, and again, he's defending his daughter by saying, shoot, what did he say? Insert clip.
I was thinking of my daughter.
But him saying that just shows that he also cares about his family so much. He cares about his daughters. But not only that, he cares about Mirabel. He is trying to show her that she does belong in this family throughout the film. And by doing so, he is, supporting her, defending her. And a little detail that I noticed is that he kind of wears like a little flower pin somewhere. I'll insert a picture somewhere. He wears like a little flower pin to add on to what he's wearing, to have like a little piece of Mirabel with him. All the characters throughout the film, they're just incredible. They're amazing. They're all very well written. All the characters with their gifts were absolutely amazing. And one big thing that I absolutely love is how diverse the family is. It shows that Latinos are of all colors. You can have Latinos who are Black. Those are, the Afro Latinos. You see it with, Pepa and Felix. Their kids are mixed. You have Felix, who's Afro-Latino, and you have Pepa. Pepa is also a nice example of how not all Latinos are brown. Pepa has ginger hair and her skin is white. I love how diverse Encanto made its cast and showing the different colors that Latinos come in. We're not just one shade of brown. We're all the shades. We're Black, we're brown, and we're white. And I absolutely love that about the film so much. They gave us our Afro-Latinos. They gave us our, I don't want to say white passing, but they gave us, our light-skinned Latinos, our white-skinned Latinos, and they gave us our tan-skinned Latinos. They gave us every little spectrum of the color wheel, and that I applaud Disney for doing, for giving us different representations of Latinos. So overall, Encanto was an absolute gem of an animated film. I enjoyed it. The beautiful bright colors, the music was absolutely amazing, everybody's gifts were beautiful, and just how diverse the characters were in terms of skin color, that was well done. And just overall amazing that Disney did. I 10 out of 10 love this film, and 10 out of 10 recommend it for those who haven't seen it. It's a beautiful film that just encapsulates generational trauma and what it means to be a Latino during a time where things were difficult. If I remember correctly reading, it takes place in, right around the 50s or the 60s. But overall, the film was amazing. I absolutely love it. It's something that I know I am going to keep watching, and I'm just happy that there is another Latino Disney film out there. I know we have Coco, and I absolutely love Coco, but I love the fact that there is another one out there, and it makes me happy. As a Latina, Hispanic, Mexican person, I love the fact that there is some representation out there finally. Well, that is it for this video. I have a feeling it's going to be a very long film, but I had to get my thoughts out there. I really wanted to talk about Encanto, and I hope you guys found it informational, but also at the same time an informal film review. So far, this is probably my favorite film of the month that I've seen, and just overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed this film review. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Leave me your thoughts. What did you guys think of the film Encanto? If you've seen it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week with a brand new video. Bye!